Hi, this is Coach Pete, and if you've got questions about how to safely and properly allocate your investments, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Financial Safari.
Broadcasting from coast to coast, it's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach Pete and his guests are some of the nation's top financial professionals. They make it their mission to guide investors through the treacherous jungle of the financial world, showing them how to grow, keep, and leave their money for their loved ones. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world on the Financial Safari.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Financial Safari. My name is Shannon Reeves and I'm here today with Chuck Caton and our financial expert, Coach Pete D'Arruda.
How you doing, everybody?
Welcome.
I'm doing well. I hope you guys
I'm
are.
doing
It's been a
fantastic.
fast-moving week, hasn't it?
It has been.
Every single week just goes by so fast. This week, folks, I had 13 financial professionals in our studios, in our office from all around the country, and we discussed the 7 financial blind spots. You want to hear about them? Let's talk about them now. You want to talk about them?
I'd love to talk
All right.
about them.
Let's go through it in order. All right, so what is a blind spot? A financial blind spot is something that is happening, Chuck, but people don't realize it's happening a lot of times. It's
Well-
like these buses, there's always a blind spot, or a tractor trailer truck. If you're driving down the road and you pull into their blind spot, you're going to be in trouble.
Absolutely. And don't get fooled if you have one of those newfangled cars like I do, and I'm sure you do, where it'll beep when there's somebody at the side of you. You still got to take that look.
Yeah,
And you have to look at your financial situation just as importantly.
Because maybe the little camera that senses people on the side of you is covered up with a bug or something like that. You never know what
That's exactly right.
Maybe it breaks, right? But number one of the blind spots, again, 7 of them, is not having written goals. Now, my wife has goals for me every single weekend to do yard work. We call it honey-do list. And Chuck, I know we've talked about your wife's honey-do list is famous for how many pages it is.
Absolutely. It's almost like your book, the 7 financial. It's like your 401k box set. Let's put it that way. It's voluminous.
Yeah, yeah. But Shannon, written goals important for day-to-day activities, but think about retirement and what we need to put down in writing what we want to do, don't we? If we don't put it down in writing, it's not really it's a dream, not a goal.
Well, and it's proven successful people often write their goals down, whether it is in their personal life, with their careers, but certainly it's important with your finances.
What we see a lot of times is we meet with folks and they have 401ks with big lump sums attached to the 401ks. They've done a great job of putting money away. The problem is when I ask them, well, what are your goals for this account? What are your goals for retirement? What are you gonna spend to have the retirement of your dreams? And they say, well, we're gonna take money out of the 401k. Which sounds great. And then I say, well, how much money are you going to take out each year and how much is going to be replenished by the market, or what would happen if the market went the wrong way? And that's the old saying, you get that stare of a deer in the headlights. Now,
Yeah.
I've never seen a deer look at my headlights. I had a deer run right into my car one time. I don't know if it saw my headlights or not.
But I think that what you're talking about, say you're 65 years old, you envision yourself working or living another 25 years,
Yeah.
let's say, okay, optimistically. So you divide 25 into your 401k total, and you think, well, that's the amount of money I'll take out every year. You know, one thing you're forgetting, you're not going to be able to have that gross amount because Uncle Sam's taking a portion of that too once you withdraw.
We have longevity risk. We have market risk. We have sequence of return risk. Now, that's one a lot of people don't realize. So it's fine to take money out of your lump sum accounts when the market is going up because then you're replenishing. But what happens if the market's way down? You still have to take money out. Let's say the market's down 30% one year, so you have to reach in your account that's lower. It's went from $1 million to $700,000 now, and you have to take out the $80,000 you need to live on that year. Well, that money's not ever going to recover because you've already taken it out and spent it. So if you leave money in the market long term, the goal and the hope is that if the market goes down, it comes back up. People overlook the time value of money, though. The time you're waiting for your money to recover, you're not gaining, you're just getting back to even. So keep in mind, folks, if you lose 50% of your money, you need 100% gain in the future just to get back to where you started.
And I love when brokers tell you, and I know I've had this happen to me in the past, that you're okay, you've got a 90-95%, you see the amount of money. And I always thought that way, Coach and Shannon, about dividing what I had by 25 or 30 years and drawing it out. But I never thought of those other things, like what would happen. So the point is, you can't have all your eggs in one basket when it comes to retirement income. You need that recurring retirement.
Right.
And the fiduciaries at Capital Financial, Coach Pete and his team will be able to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, and so if you're just interested, if you want your very own financial goal sheet, we have designed a special sheet to show you to give you those ideas of what you should be writing down for retirement, and also analyzing your current plan to make sure that it will sustain you throughout your lifetime. If you just have a lump sum and no lifetime income, what we call a financial fill-up strategy, which will give you a check every single month for the rest of your life when you decide to retire, you and your spouse, never outlive it, not dependent on the market, no gimmicks here, you don't outlive your money. Then a lot of people say, well, Coach, what if we put our money into this financial fill-up strategy and we pass away too early? What happens to that money? Well, you assign who gets it after you pass away. So it doesn't disappear, goes on to your next of kin. It's called a spend and leave plan. You spend it while you're here, and you leave it to your next of kin when you're not.
All you got to do is, you talk about writing things down. You write down your beneficiaries, and you make sure you review them, because there could be situations where you might change those beneficiaries. Now, you talk about the written goals. What about something else? Say step 2 in the financial life.
Well, step 2 is the government programs, pensions from companies, and just overall, who's going to take care of you in retirement as far as income? Because a lot of you watching are maybe depending on maybe you have a pension. Not many people have pensions. About only 6% of Americans these days have a pension. That means you work for a company for 20, 30, 40 years, you retire, the company continues to give you a check, albeit smaller than what you were getting as you're working usually, but it's a check for the rest of your life. It's called a pension. It's usually a pension annuity because it gives you a stream of income you can't outlive, and you pick and choose. There's so many options there, Chuck, what you need to pick. Should you take less amount for yourself to make sure that when you pass away, your spouse gets that same amount, or a lesser amount? It's like so many options. I recommend pension maximization. I recommend you take the maximum you can, and then we set up behind the scenes a way that when you pass away, if you pass away before your spouse, they get a lump sum that is tax-free, that'll translate into even more that they ever would have got if you would have taken a less amount for yourself. It's called pension maximization. I'd be willing to guess about 99 out of 100 people have never heard of that before.
Absolutely. Well, I know I haven't. And I get a tiny, and I mean tiny, National Hockey League pension. And but unfortunately, the terms of that pension are that if I pass away, it goes to my wife. But then after 10 years, that's it.
Yeah.
But I've had other sources.
So we need lifetime planning, and that's overlooked in the financial world. But hey, that's what we're here for. That's what we do our show. We've been doing radio shows for 15 years, TV shows for a long time too. And I've been in the financial arena for 27 years. We've never had a complaint for a reason, because we keep you informed. We help you think about things maybe no one has talked about before. And then we go behind the scenes in your current plan and make sure there aren't any financial termites. Those are risk, fees, commission, and expenses that are not readily available to see. They're there, just like termites in your house. They're doing damage,
Right.
And by the time you realize it many times, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars of money you should have had that have been disappear because those financial termites. So let's do this. For the next 20 people who call, we'll do all this for you. We'll do a Social Security claiming strategy report. We'll do the lifetime income report. We'll help you with that pension max. We'll help you analyze your beneficiary situation. We will custom design your very own tailor-fit financial and retirement plan that'll give you that lifetime income, that financial fill-up strategy. We call it Core and Explore. We'll put all your different assets for you. We'll categorize all what you have right now in different money buckets, different color-coded ones, so that you see what kind of risk you're taking. Again, the next 20 people who call us right now, no fee, no obligation. We've seen others charge over $1,000 for this. You'll also get my 401k survival box set. It's a $300 value, and a couple of the books I've written, 7 baby steps. 888-910-8265. Again, that's 888-910-8265. And we'll be right back after this.
Talk to one of our local experts, and we have a special offer for you on today's show. Call in the next 30 minutes, and we're going to custom design for you an easy-to-understand financial review that will indicate if you're in need of a full-blown financial plan. There's no obligation or cost for this initial review for all callers who have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. If you meet those qualifications, here's what you can expect. First, we'll run a fee report to help you untangle what it's costing you to work with your current planner or advisor. We'll show you how to protect your investments and keep more of your money in your accounts. Next, we'll perform a tax analysis to show you how you could possibly be reducing your taxes and increase your cash flow. And finally, we'll create a customized lifetime income plan using proven strategies and techniques that could turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we'll take the guesswork out of financial planning for you. So, for all callers who call in the next 30 minutes, a comprehensive financial review that we're offering with no obligation. Just call the number below right now.
everybody, Steve Siddall here with a funny money story, and this one is true. It happened to me. So when I was 12 years old, I was hanging out in the pool hall with all the bad boys because, well, that's what I did. And a guy comes in wearing a powder blue leisure suit and white bucks, and he's walking around the pool hall asking if anybody wants to make some money. Well, yeah, I was 12. So a bunch of us went with him and found out what we were doing is selling magazines door to door. Yeah, so we had to learn a sales pitch. I still remember most of it. You walk up to the door, bump, bump, bump. Hi there, ma'am, are you the lady of the house? Well, great, then this is for you. And you hand them a card upside down and backwards, and as they stumble with that, you say, you just check off any two and you get them next month at no cost to you. It's an advertiser's gift. Everybody gets two, ma'am. We're doing it like they did before the war when they delivered magazines. I'm not sure what war it was, but that's what we said. So I got a lot of rejection in that, of course. But I did sell a few, ultimately. So it was the end of a very long day. And he would drive us around, Mr. Leisure Suit would drive us around from place to place. And I went up one more door to knock on. Hi there, sir. Are you the man of the house? Well, bang, the door got slammed. This guy was pissed. So then I went back to the car where Mr. Leisure Suit was smoking a Benson and Hedges menthol, classy. And he said, oh my gosh, come with me. So we walk around the back of the house, and he tells me what to say on the way. So I get back there, I'm game, knock on the door. Same guy comes to the door and say, hi there, sir. I sure hope you aren't as mean as the guy in the front of the house is. Can I? Bang, slam the door. Well, I mean, again, it's a great line, no question about that. I actually lasted about 3 weeks on the job and, made a few bucks, but mostly I got this store.
It's the Financial Safari. I'm Chuck Caton. Shannon's here. Coach Pete is here. And we are in the midst of imparting the information to you on the 7 financial blind spots. We've covered 2 of them. Let's go to number 3. And this is the one that I do not like. I don't think, Shannon, you do.
Certainly
Coach,
not.
I know you don't. And I'm the oldest here among the 3. And I've seen my share of inflation. So we've got to think about that too in retirement.
Inflation means things cost more as we get older. And that's pretty simple to see. Just think about it. I mean, a quiz anyone can do for themselves. We'll talk about my candy bar economics in a minute. But a survey you can do for yourself. Think about what you paid for your very first house. And I'll use my dad as an example. $32,500 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Warrenburg, North Carolina in 1975.
Wow.
Now, think about what you paid for your last car. Dad bought a $68,000 Dodge pickup. That's a nice pickup right there a couple of years ago. So he paid double almost for his last car that he did for his first house. And that, my friends, is inflation, right? And so that same house sold 3 years ago for $108,000, by the way. So $32,000 up to $108,000. So that's inflation too, isn't it? That's real estate. That's a good investment for somebody if they would have kept it that long. Dad sold it back in 1986. I think he sold it for about $20,000 more than he paid for it. It was a nice house for us back in the day, but that's inflation for houses and cars, but then just everything. Food is costs are going up. I look at candy bars. I was the fattest paper boy you ever saw when I was from 7 to 10 years old.
And the candy bars were fat too.
They were 10 cents each back then, and now they're over $1. But I mean, Mom would always get mad at me because I'd blow half my, I'd go around collecting on my paper route, and I'd blow half the money before I got home on candy bars and that red drink, it's like a tropical fruit punch, but it's a soda. It's Canada Dry makes it or whatever. It's really good. Tropicana, soda punch. I used to love that. Yeah. But anyway, what are you going to do about it? Well, you're going to make sure that your plan that you have, your financial plan, and the money you have, your growth, needs to outperform inflation. Inflation historically is about 3%. So we see people that say, oh, I'm so scared of the market, I don't know what to do. Well, they don't leave it under the pillow at home, luckily, but they go down to the bank and they put the money in a bank account at a 1% interest rate, yet inflation is 3%. So they're losing a buying power by 2% a year. We call that losing money safely because the money's safe in the bank, so you're all happy until you realize your money is shrinking right in front of you every single year as you leave it in the bank. Shannon, we see that way too much.
I've seen it quite a bit over my past 20 plus years in the financial industry, and so many clients who worry about FDIC insurance. They want that money safe, but they're not accounting for that future inflation that they're going to experience.
Nothing wrong with having some money in a bank account. We call that the yellow accounts. That is money that's not growing, but it's 100% liquid for the most part. You can get it any time. You can ride by the bank and wave to your money. It's not there anymore. They've loaned it back out to other people. But it makes you feel good. But we have 3 buckets of money, Chuck, and we need to maximize growth potential. And so what we do a lot of times is we go to the stock market. Those are stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and even real estate sometimes. If you're, real estate's volatile sometimes. But we try to get a good return, but we know we're sacrificing some safety for that good return. Now, what I've seen over the years is way too many people don't realize the amount of safety they're sacrificing, so they put way too much money in the red bucket. And we see this every single day when we have an 8-foot whiteboard in the office, and we help you by categorizing where you are right now, looking at all your money and putting it on the whiteboard in the different columns. Most people that come in, Shannon, you can attest to this, most people that come in, most of their money is in the red accounts, even when they're over 52, which is a financial red zone. They haven't heard of the rule of 100, where you take 100, you subtract your age. Chuck, we've gone over this with you. The number you get, so if you're 62, let's say, so 100 minus 62 is 38. 38% of your money could be at risk. The other 62 really should be in a place you can't lose. Why does Coach Pete say this? Because if you lose it, you're older, it's not going to be as easy as it was when you're younger to rebuild that money.
No, you don't have the time.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the next point. Another one of your financial blind spot is taxes.
Oh, gosh.
Because again, talk about it so many times before. You think you've got $500,000 in your 401k. You don't, because you've got to be able to minimize taxes, and that goes for how to manage your Social Security, but really your entire nest egg is taxable and there's ways to minimize that.
We call taxes, it's one of our financial termites, and we can't eliminate it completely, but we can do a good job of tax planning to look ahead to protect your behind from the tax man, and that's very important because no one wants to pay taxes, but it's better than not making any money and not paying taxes. So tax efficiency, Shannon, very important.
It is very important, and that's something that we want everyone to realize is there's a way to plan to minimize the amount of taxes that you pay.
Yep.
And that's what our
we can do a tax plan for you if you call right now too. That's important. That's what our CPAs tell us every day. Is Coach, I can't believe these folks never met with a CPA and had this explained to them. We hear that all the time.
Absolutely.
And just how you fashion your financial vehicles. Some of them can be creating a tax time bomb, and others, Roth IRA, Chuck, give you tax-free income for the rest of your life. There's some Roth alternatives that even multiply the ability to give you tax-free income, as well as give your spouse a tax-free lump sum when you pass away. So if you're curious about anything we're talking about here, and if you want a copy, we've got a box set on the 7 financial blind spots. It has a DVD in it, workbook, guidebook, and a certificate in there for your very own personal consultation to help you identify the 7 blind spots and make sure you don't have blind spots in your portfolio you don't even see. All you have to do for the next 20 people who call, we'll do that for you at no cost or obligation. I'll even get you some of the books that I've written as well. But you call 888-910-8265. Again, that's 888-910-8265. The call's free, the appointments are free, and basically it frees up your mind to not worry anymore when you get a good plan in place. That makes you feel good, Chuck.
Absolutely, it makes you feel good. Blind spot number 5, mortgages. Now, I'm lucky. I don't have one.
Oh,
you never
you
know.
are lucky.
But a lot of people do, so explain, please.
Well, a common question we see is, Coach Pete, should I or should I not pay my mortgage off before I retire? And I always say, if you have money, like if you inherit some money and you've already built up your retirement accounts, because you know what's the most important thing to retire is having an income you can live on.
Well,
and not having no bills, because no
Absolutely.
bills is fun, but you still want to do fun. I paid all my bills off. Now I can retire. I said, well, how much money you had to retire on? Nothing, but I have no bills.
Yeah,
You're
well-
going to sit at home then.
Absolutely. Now, in my particular case, and I'm a normal guy, I had an income property that my parents had in Michigan, and when we sold it, that's the financial part of it that I put into my house. So I really didn't take it out of a savings account or any other retirement. So I was able to do that. I was lucky.
Yeah, but most people, now, here's what I see the big problem. This is why we call it a blind spot, is people will take money out of their IRA or the 401k to pay the mortgage off before they retire. Now, let's talk about mortgages in a minute, the rates and all that. But what they do there is they create a tax time bomb situation. They owe tax on that money. And now they don't have the retirement account these days. So never take money out of your retirement account to pay the house off early. Shannon, we're in such a low interest rates environment now. You've got the bank on the hook to accept a very small payment for a long period of time. Why would you want to let the bank off the hook anyway?
That's exactly right. Use their money and make money on your money.
So if you want your very own review, folks, we spend a lot of times helping people just like you get on that right path and getting that peace of mind all the way through retirement. The next 20 people will do it for you, no cost or obligation. It's a $1,000 value. It's 888-910-8265, 888-910-8265. We'll be right back after this. back into the Financial Safari, another fast-moving show, Chuck. It's so much fun to do these radio and TV shows with my co-host here, Chuck Caton, NHL Hall of Fame broadcaster. Chuck, it's always fun to do a show with you.
Well, thank you. You know, you talk about fast. That's why I used to love to do hockey, because it was a timed sport. We got out of there about 2.5 hours. Hopefully my team won.
You know, hockey really is, when you look at all the sports on TV, well, basketball in a way too, but you never know how many free throws, and basketball games can drag on, all the fouls at the end. Hockey's one that really does start at a certain time and end at a certain time.
I love baseball, but I would never want to broadcast it.
So if retirement planning was like a hockey game, it'd be a whole lot easier to plan.
Absolutely.
Because everything is definite. But retirement planning is so much different, and we were talking about earlier those 7 financial blind spots.
And I'd have to say that in that sports analogy, one of the things that we have in sports is we always start on time. We don't procrastinate. If a game's going to start at 7:38, it's going to start at 7:38, not 7:50, not 8 o'clock. Same thing in the financial world. You can't procrastinate when it comes to your retirement.
Well, it's very important. Now, procrastination has eaten more retirement accounts before they even start than anything, because people put off, number one, saving, but number two, put off planning for retirement. And it's never too soon to start that retirement plan process. And so people say, well, Coach, what year or what age should we really start worrying about retirement? If you haven't started by age 52, that's when you're starting to approach that financial red zone, we call it. That's when it's vitally important that we understand exactly what we're going to do, when we're going to retire, what kind of money we have, where is the money, and more importantly, Chuck, where should the money be instead of where it is right now?
I think one of the rules of thumb on this is when you get a job and you have a 401k program and you want to maximize it, you learn all about it, and you can be even in your 30s and 40s, where it's never too early. So 52 is probably that maximum time. That's when you're, like you say, you're on that 20-yard line trying to go into the end zone. But why not start at midfield and pick up a fumble and then take it the other way?
Just because other people are making mistakes doesn't mean you have to make it. And Shannon, I know you've talked to several folks who said that they are very happy they're starting to approach this process of planning for retirement.
Certainly. Well, if you're like me, you can procrastinate going to the grocery store, or like the two of you, you can procrastinate completing that honey-do list. But you do not want to procrastinate when you're dealing with your financial future.
Yeah, the only person you're really hurting is yourself and your family if you
exactly
don't plan the right way. And I know it's confusing out there. There's so many different facts and Google and all that. I mean, articles every single day telling you should do this or do that, and you do this and then you weren't, you should have done that. Get a plan with a true fiduciary, which makes sure that you are on the right path. It's in writing. There's no gimmicks, no games. We can't take money out of your account. We can't charge commission. That's what a fiduciary does. So if the choice is to pay somebody a planning fee and then at the back end they're taking commission out of your money, those are A-share mutual fund kind of things where you put in $100 and 90 goes into your account and 10 goes into somebody else's pocket. Those days are really gone, or they should be, but there are still folks out there who are not fiduciaries and are taking commissions out of your account, and they're not giving you anything different than somebody else could. Matter of fact, they probably aren't even giving you as good as what you could have.
Absolutely. And what Coach always says is, whose retirement are you financing? Yours or yours and your brokers?
That's right.
All right.
I love the way that Chuck listens to what I say.
Oh, I do.
But I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. That's what we try to make the financial world is a dry world. It's humorless. We try to put a little humor into the fact that it doesn't have to be scary, and that's what I try to do. Shannon, you've known me for years, and I basically try to make it a real painless process of getting that plan.
It's certainly a complicated process,
It is.
but you can take that process and we simplify it and make it easily understandable.
Yeah.
And now, I know we've only got a minute to go, but retirement age is that seventh
Blind
financial blind spot. I guess that means when you decide to retire.
Well, what age should you retire? And a lot of folks have that magic 65 in their head. But folks, the secret is, many of you watching have your balances in your 401ks, your lump sums, that if put in a proper allocation strategy and bucketing strategy, you could retire tomorrow if you do the right thing. Instead of having to work 5 or 6 more years, having a proper income plan. You can retire at any age you want if you have the proper income set up that will increase through your lifetime retirement and never run out. And that's what the main thing I see. The main problem is people are worried about taking money out of their lump sum, not knowing if it'll stay there forever. Get an income plan, get a retirement plan. If you call right now, as we leave for the week, the next 20 people will do that for you. We'll help you categorize where you are now, but more importantly, we'll give you a financial green print and game plan to get you on that right direction. You also get a book set and a box set. 888-910-8265. 888-910-8265. For Chuck Caton, Shannon Reeves, it's Coach Pete. We'll see you next week.
with one of our local experts, and we have a special offer for you on today's show. Call in the next 30 minutes, and we're going to custom design for you an easy-to-understand financial review that will indicate if you're in need of a full-blown financial plan. There's no obligation or cost for this initial review for all callers who have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. If you meet those qualifications, here's what you can expect. First, we'll run a fee report to help you untangle what it's costing you to work with your current planner or advisor. We'll show you how to protect your investments and keep more of your money in your accounts. Next, we'll perform a tax analysis to show you how you could possibly be reducing your taxes and increase your cash flow. And finally, we'll create a customized lifetime income plan using proven strategies and techniques that could turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we'll take the guesswork out of financial planning for you. So, for all callers who call in the next 30 minutes, a comprehensive financial review that we're offering with no obligation. Just call the number below right now.
Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Neither Peter J. Deruta or his guests are liable for the usage of information discussed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken.